Yeah, I'm with you.
We're live now. I think everybody's had a better time off the air than we will on the air, but we'll see what happens. This is Friday Night Likes. This is the show in which these fellas compete for likes. I'm John Nolan, your host. I've got a thumb. The thumb will signify when these guys make good points. We're very, very happy to have our guests with us tonight. We've got Wally, Dom, Baz, and Marshy. Let's go around the room. Tell everybody where you are, where they can reach you on social media, and if anything that you're drinking. I'm on Jameson and Ginger at the minute. Wally, where are you?
Yeah, I'm Wally, and I'm in Philadelphia, right near to John. And in honor of our English guests, I'm drinking tea, iced tea.
Oh, dear God. That's sacrilegious. Dom.
Hello. I'm in my work canteen. I'm on my break at work.
Oh, wow!
So this is where I am. You can reach me on Twitter, DO_WHU1995.
Good stuff, Baz.
I'm in my house. I'm drinking Winderling because I'm pissed off and watching West Ham on a Friday night. Just get a shot at me because I can't be doing them no more. And they ain't going to want to follow me, trust me. All they want to do is abuse me. But if you want to get on me Twitter, Baz1980WHU.
Good one, Marshy.
Yeah, I'm in South East London. Just got back from work. I'm drinking, as I said to you backstage, some of this flavoured water shit. Summer fruits, Volvic water. So we're getting it's right. It's a right heavy one.
Getting hydrated for tomorrow, huh?
Yeah. Taking it easy before the big one. Another defeat, probably.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. All right, boys. Well, Wally, I'm going to send you back into the room. Wally's our official scorekeeper, so he'll be keeping score of what's going on and who's making the best points. Like I said, Friday Night Likes. Everybody's competing for likes, and we'll get right into it with the first question. So how could we not talk about managers, fellas? That's pretty much all that's been in the news the last week to 2 weeks. So you've all heard the names out there. You've heard the names that are common. You've heard the names that are also not so common, and people speculating on others like Rio, etc. But who among the current crop, who among the current crop of potential replacements for Pellegrini would you choose, and why? Baz, let's start with you.
I would go for Eddie Howe. Because I think he gets hard work out of his team. Don't have superstars. His side work well. There's no one who stands out every single week or wants the fame and glory every week. It's just proper hard work, determination throughout his side. And right now, I think it's what West Ham need. If it's not him, I think it needs to be somebody at the club and all these coaches from people that have come through the club. And start from the bottom again and build our way up, because I think at the minute we've lost who we are, what we were, run away with this idea of we're a top six side because we've got a big flash 60,000 seater stadium. And I think it's time to start again. And if you don't get someone like Eddie Howe, then as I said, I think we need to get someone. I'm not saying him, but someone like Scott Parker with the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Joe Cole, try and get Michael Carrick back for Man United. And start from the bottom once again.
Dom is saying he can't hear you, but I can hear you. Marshy, can you hear Baz?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Dom's winding you up. Don't believe a word Dom tells you.
I can't hear a word he's saying.
You just replied to him, Dom. Marshy, you're up.
I'm like, right, okay. I think I echo Baz with the first option. I think Eddie Howe. I think obviously he's trying to build a project at Bournemouth. I think he's got some class players there that hopefully, if it does come off, he might be able to bring with him, because clearly we need some strength in depth, and obviously the players in the first team need to be a bit stronger and show a bit more about them than just sort of half-hearted weakness and sort of no ability or no bollocks, if you like. So Eddie Howe definitely be the first one, but I think away from him maybe Sean Dyche. I think you know what you get with his Burnley team. I think physicality, strength. They might not win in the prettiest way, but I mean he gets 110% out of his players, so. That'll probably be the main thing. And then I think, echoing Baz after them two, I think it'll be someone within the club. Not that they've got a lot of experience from the playing days, but they've got to get a bit of ability and experience somewhere managerially. So, maybe someone like Rio Ferdinand, Joe Cole, maybe even a Di Canio-esque sort of thing. Maybe like a legend at the club. Maybe Noble can do something a bit later on. Maybe helped out by the likes of Collins, people like that have, breathed the club, you cut yourself inside out and you bleed the claret and blue. So I think that's something that we're after, to be honest.
Don, where do you stand on this?
I want Eddie Howe. He's my first choice. To be honest, we just need a manager who would improve the areas we desperately lack in. We lack fight, we lack physicality, we lack organisation, and we lack defending. Now, Sean Dyche is probably the guy who would improve all of those, but I think Eddie Howe, given his age, would be a much more better long-term appointment. Now, Sean Dyche has proven he can take you into European football. We did it with Burnley in 2018. Well, they didn't get into the group, but it's a 7th place finish for a side like Burnley. It's a great achievement, and that's the level we want to reach to take that next step. But Eddie Howe, for me, he's the number one favourite to take over. He's keen on the job, according to reports on Twitter we've seen in the week, and he would be my number one choice. His age is a big factor. He's done a magnificent job at Bournemouth. I think this will be a new challenge for him, because I think the way Bournemouth have risen up through the leagues in recent years, obviously they were about 10 years ago, they were on the verge of going extinct. And now they find themselves in the Premier League. So I think Bournemouth as a club will be very happy for where they are now without really considering the next level for them. And I don't think there's any pressure on how to take Bournemouth to that next step. But with us, I think he can progress because we want that next level as a club.
We've definitely we've had good success with managers from Bournemouth in the past, at least for a couple of years there. But I think all you guys have been pretty vocal about feelings on Pellegrini game right now. Is it back to Pellegrini in? Is there any salvage his job at West Ham, or is he past it at this point? Dom, I'll start with you, and we'll go back round the other way.
He's lost a dressing room. This is the way we've played and turned up in the last month or two. Have been very reminiscent of the final days of Slaven Bilic or 2 years ago. No dressing room. The dressing room's gone, as far as I'm aware. We don't have any. We don't have any organisation. We don't have any game plan. It's constant one-dimension tactics. Lamp it up front to Haller, who's got no service. He was one of the best informed strikers in Europe last season. We're just ruining him, which we tend to do in the last few years. His subs are too like for like. Same subs every week. And I've been saying he makes it up as he goes along. You could argue, and the goalkeeper's been a disaster, Roberto, but, who keeps playing him? He does. Had to be dropped last week against Tottenham. He played him, made another error. I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. I hope not anyway. But as far as I'm aware, he's updated. He's 66 years old. He's a mercenary. So, yeah, nothing to do. Even if we win tomorrow, which, will be incredible if we do go there and win, but it will save his job. And then we know more talk of him going, which in the long run needs to happen to be what's best for the club.
Marshy, what can Pellegrini do to get you back on board? Anything?
To be honest with you, I don't think he can. I think stemming back from, especially before we kicked off against Newcastle, I think it was clear to see the home game there that he had clearly lost the dressing room. I don't think the players really wanted to play for him. I think they were there sort of as individuals as opposed to a team unit, sort of going forward and sort of defending. He doesn't seem to know his best 11, sort of like what Dom said, echoing that. He sort of makes it up as he goes along. Maybe playing a few players out of their strongest positions as well. Maybe like an Anderson. I think he could be probably a bit more useful in the centre midfield, sort of in a 10 role, if you like, where Lanzini sort of tries to operate when he's been fit. But yeah, no, I don't think, I think maybe he's taken it as far as he can go. I think the talk of the breaking into the top 6, I think, needed to happen this year, and obviously clearly it's not going to. I think we've got a good side on the paper, but again, like the Tottenham defeat, as far as I'm concerned, you can't motivate your players for a game like that. Then I don't think there's any going back. I mean, I know it's 2 games every season that you really want to win, but as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't seem to have the, he doesn't seem to motivate and doesn't get him up for it. They say half-hearted challenges. I think there's only a couple of the boys, as I say, I've been Noble's worst critic for a little while now, but I can't obviously say a bad word about him now. I think him and Rice have been superb. I think if we had 11 of those boys out there, it'd be fantastic. Obviously, the defending ability is not there, but then what he's dealing with Man City, coming back from China, winning the league first off. Was it 2013? The QPR game, dealing with Roberto. I mean, trying to play out from the back at Burnley. But then you got Balbuena that was playing his best football before injuries. Obviously, not Pellegrini's fault, but trying to play out from the back and get a system going there. And we're not actually that good. And I think we need to realise that. I've been saying it to a few bodies now over there that we've got to realise we're not actually that good. And a lot of that, boils down to the manager. So even if we do win tomorrow, I think it papers over a lot of cracks. And I think they need to get to the bottom of what they really, what the problems are. Being the first one as Pellegrini, and then these owners need to sort of work out. I made it clear after the last game at Tottenham. If they're really in love with this club like we all are, and not just in it for the business aspects, which of course they're business people as well. But if they're supporters as opposed to anything else like we all are, then you do the right thing and get rid of him. And if it's 10 to 15 million, and you've seen it with Arsenal today. Even Charlton have been bought out and whatever. I know that's a different subject, but it seems to be pretty good stuff for other London clubs around, and we seem to be the one falling behind. So it's a bit of a panic, but yeah, I'd say definitely his days are numbered. They should be up by now.
There's a lot of other clubs being very decisive. Baz, 4 wins on the bounce, Pellegrini in?
No, get him gone now. He shouldn't even be there. Should not be leading that team out tomorrow. I've said it. Dom will back me up. I sit with Dom at home games, and I've called it out since at least April last year. He's just so stubborn. Nothing had changed. We could go and win. I mean, we won 4 games early on in the year, or the 4 games after Man City, whatever it was, 3 wins and a draw, whatever. But we never played well. Apart from 80 minutes against Norwich, the last 20 minutes against Watford, until Antonio come on, we was never winning that game. They were the better side, Watford, in fairness. I know we took an early lead, but we were never winning that game. Aston Villa away, we was right in patches, Bournemouth away. But apart from them games, even when we beat United at home, I don't know a game where we've played well. He's stubborn. The system we play doesn't work. The only thing he does with our system is change, or with our team, is change personnel. It's never a change of tactics or anything like that. It's, if Yarmolenko can't play there, I'll play Snodgrass. If Snodgrass can't play there, I'll play Antonio. And it's just the same player different players doing the same role that ain't working. And I'll use Anderson, and I always use him. No, he hasn't performed. But I've got to be honest with you, I would be shot to bits myself if every single week I was played in the wrong position and every single week being dragged after 45 minutes to an hour. I'd have no interest. And this is that manager's doing. He's stubborn. And no disrespect, he's an old man, and he don't need the pressure of the change in the new game. There's a reason why Arsene Wenger's time run out at Arsenal. The game's changed, and managers like this, especially if you give Pellegrini an unlimited checkbook, I'm sure he'd do all right, and I'm sure he'd buy all the players he needs to make that team click and play as he wants. But this is West Ham. West Ham ain't a luxury. You have to win games rolling your sleeves up, being in players' faces, in other teams and players' faces. Like Marshy said, take away Noble and Rice, and I'd even put Snodgrass and, to a degree, Cresswell in that. Take them out that side. I cannot name you one player that will fight for that shirt. I don't know of one. So
I think that's a good answer.
He could
kind of make fun of Mourinho because
I can't hear you.
Go ahead, so go on.
I can't hear you, mate. You broke up.
We've kind of laid out where Mourinho spent the most money out of any manager ever. Can you hear me?
Can now, yeah.
You talking to me?
Dom, Marshy?
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Really, everybody hear me?
You're under the seat.
Yeah, so we've kind of said that with Mourinho before. Spent a lot of money. Pellegrini spent a lot of money in his career.
Are you filming in a submarine?
At West Ham. I don't know. I'm at family's house for Thanksgiving. I'm not in my normal spot.
He's in the London Stadium. We've got no Wi-Fi there yet. He's in the London Stadium.
What was the question?
Well, let's since we're talking about Thanksgiving,
I think
maybe I'll get on to question number 2.
Can you hear him, Dom?
If not, Wally, I'll bring you in. You can answer questions.
Yeah, I don't actually have the questions. You never gave.
Okay, I'll ask you a question too.
I've got them in the private chat. So
Oh.
question 2 is, here in the States is Thanksgiving. So let's actually name something West Ham related that you're thankful for. Can you hear me? Yeah?
All right.
We'll start with
I
Marshy.
I
understand,
hear you now.
I think I'm thankful for family for getting me there. I think there's only one team that I was ever going to support, and these two lads in this chat here, Dom and Baz, like various others, you don't get to meet people like that sort of every day. So they're very close mates of mine. We've been to a lot of games together, share a lot of views. Obviously we get our picked apart as well sometimes, but I think it's how you deal with the negativity, and we're going to keep supporting the team regardless. Everyone's got their views and opinions, like we do on the West Ham TV. With those boys, I think it's essential that we keep everyone together, and when it's not going so well on the pitch, you've got the boys in backup, obviously, to make everything a good, positive atmosphere. So definitely thankful for the lads and family members that have got me supporting this club.
That's all warm and fuzzy. Dom, are you going to add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, most of my best mates now, I've all met through West Ham. People like Baz, people like Marsh, and when we do the aways, we always we turn around and say, it's not really about the result; it's the day out. And most of the time, we do have a really good day out. But we ain't going to talk about Burnley, are we? Because that was like disaster from top to bottom.
Yeah.
But no, obviously I'm grateful to my granddad who got me into sport in West Ham. But he passed away not long after, so we never got to go to a game together. So that's a massive regret in life. But my dad took me to my first game, and it's just kicked on from there really. But yeah, it's nice to meet people because we don't live in the same area. I mean, I live in Essex, Marsh lives in South London, Baz lives in the New Forest. So we're all counties apart, but we're still close mates. We meet up. It sort of brings us together. We always have something to go with, which is it's nice.
That Good Friday feeling. Baz?
I'm thankful for my old man, really, getting me into West Ham, because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have developed and knew what pie and mash was. And thanks to that, I've now got 6 chins. So I'm quite grateful for that. But no, as the two lads said, to be fair, there's a lot of crap that comes your way when you go on social media and you do things like this, or you do things like West Ham Fan TV and whatever it may be. But there's also a great lot of supporters at West Ham that get behind you and pull together. For argument's sake, not too long ago, and still going on now with Little Islet, for example, just off the back of that, I've seen how this fan base can pull together to help their own, and it's incredible. The little girls in totals had raised about £400,000, and majority of that would be through West Ham supporters. Don't get me wrong, other football clubs have been great and supporters from other clubs, but the majority of that would be from West Ham fans. And again, probably 95% of them wouldn't even know who she is and would never have seen her in her life, would never have heard of her if it weren't for the fact she was West Ham. And there's a great family community at West Ham, but I do honestly believe it's being ripped apart ever since we moved away from Upton Park, and that's through greed. And I think that's what the owners have now brought to this club. But there's still a lot of old people and older-headed people that understand what West Ham did mean.
So let's get into that, because we saw an article come out this week from a John, and I promise that wasn't me.
John Sullivan.
Maybe it was. Pointing the blame of Pellegrini's hire and our form back onto the fans. So I'll start with you, Baz. Tell me, why is Dom to blame for the situation that we're in right now?
Because Dom is a list.
I don't know what he's saying. What did he say?
Yeah, it's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, don't let him hear it.
What did he say? I can't hear him.
He called you a
why
list.
is Dom to blame? Dom's to blame because Dom's one of these fans when he come in. And this isn't personal or being nasty, but I honestly think Dom thinks we're better than we are as well. And I think Dom expects West Ham to be a top 6 club. I mean, I'm older than Dom. I'm 39, and in my lifetime of supporting West Ham, I've never known of us to be successful. I've never known of us to have good owners. And it was all about the upsets for me. And teams hated visiting West Ham. Didn't ever want to come to Upton Park, especially on night games under the lights. It was famous there then. the arrival for teams down Green Street used to hear how hostile it was, and they didn't like that. Now they're arriving coaches into massive car parks where there's no one near them. It's easy for teams now to come to West Ham, and it's a walk in the park. It's not an away game. It's just might as well be an home game for them. It's just too easy. So I say Dom and some other fans, I think, have got a little bit carried away with the move. And I was guilty at first. I was guilty because I believed that it would help, but I don't believe it'll ever help under this owners. No chance.
Dom, I'll let you get your own back. Why is Marshy to blame for this situation?
Because he doesn't like the 10%. He gets to the games far too quick. His driving almost causes too many accidents on the road.
There's no old Bill listening.
This is why I feel very unsafe when I go to games. It's because of a lot of the supporters feel unsafe. It gets to the players.
And Marshy, why is Baz to blame for this situation?
Why is Baz to blame? How long you got? No. I think it's. I think Baz has obviously made it clear that he's not going to be attending the games now. What with Pellegrini and the shit basically that's going on. Again, as close to him as I am, I think supporters like that you don't find everywhere. So people like Baz and like many of the rest of us, and other people that would be given a chance to go sort of to all these away games, I think, and get the support going. Very well known person that can sort of get everyone together, get everyone congregated. Obviously, all the work with the Isla stuff, showing what a sort of close family knit, tight knit that we are, and that should be able to rub onto the pitch, instead of being like individual performances, individual players, a team that look like they've just been chucked together. I think Baz gets a lot of people sort of in the stands and in the away sections of these grounds around the country. I think that gets us all collected together. And I think when some of us are on a bit of a downer and, have our rants and, get on the Twitter a lot and, don't stop tweeting about all the situations, I think he's one to calm me down, like a Noble-esque sort of off the field. I think he's like a sort of leader's role, captain's role. And, I think that's what we lack on the pitch. So hopefully it gets back to us soon. And that's another sole reason why Pellegrini fucking out, mate, to be honest. I'm hoping it's going to be tomorrow. So,
So what is this article that came out, right? Do any of the fans, do we share any culpability in our form in Pellegrini's hire, or is this all just complete bollocks? Marshy?
I'm sorry. Thary.
Go on, Dom. Go on, sorry, go on.
It makes my blood boil when fellow supporters try and call out other supporters and try and blame them for the mess of the club right now.
Yeah, but
because
you are
I ain't the one up
Southampton.
front. Marshy's not the one running down the wing, and Baz ain't the one in goal. So how the hell's it?
You wish I
At
was.
the end of the day, the
It
players
probably should be, yeah.
the
I'd
players
fill it.
take to the pitch. They're the ones we go and support every week up and down the country, and you're blaming supporters. It's just, I don't know who this John bloke is. I don't read Claret and Hugh because I don't believe a lot of the stuff they say. It's nothing against them. That's just my personal opinion. Good luck to them. But when you get people pop up blaming supporters for this and that, and it makes zero sense to me. When you're blinded by the real problems of this club, which lies to the manager and the owners, they're getting away with it.
Marshy, it's your fault, isn't it? No?
I think so, yeah. Listen, I wouldn't mind running down the wing. I don't even want to be paid for it. I'd play for this club for nothing. So you get more effort out of me. I'd definitely be sacked in my job if I weren't doing it right. So I made that clear in the last thing. But with regard to people, I think, suggesting that it's the supporters' fault. Listen, if we weren't there behind that goal, and the ones that have accrued all the points and whatever from the loyalty over all the years, then no fucker would be in that way. And so, as far as I'm concerned, without the support of this club, there'd be, I don't know where they'd be. To say we're playing the top level in this country at the moment, we certainly wouldn't be without people like, all of us across the world as well. Just, have a view, tune in and watch it. But I think it also gives people something to talk about. It's similar to this VAR. VAR are people that pick up decisions that no one else is bothered about. And this is someone that's probably just written an article on his own, or with a group of people, or whatever it is. Not that it concerns me, I couldn't give a shit. But I think it's, it just keeps people busy. I think it gets people, and I think that causes unrest in the camp as well. I think when we're in a position like we are at West Ham at the moment, and we haven't won a game in 8, and players are not playing well, the manager's under fire. I think it's down to support of all us lot to keep everything close together and go with the heart and all that. I'd like to see the players given a bit more of that, but I think it causes a bit of unrest off the pitch with all so-called supporters and people that are meant to be supporters. That I can't see how it would be the fans' fault. I mean, Pellegrini picks a side, the players will go out and do their job, and if they're not doing it, then it's down to the manager. I think these are all people as well that either love Pellegrini or love the ball, to be honest. So I'm definitely not either of those. I don't love Pellegrini, and I certainly don't love the owners. So especially even based off of them decisions today. I mean, Arsenal have got the bollocks to do it. We haven't. It just shows how down the pecking order that we are. We've got an opportunity for Eddie Howe to come in, potentially, if you believe everything that you read. It's like reading the Sun, isn't it, to an extent, really? But it's, listen, we've all got to come together instead of getting each other's throats and a lot of the negative shit on Twitter and whatever. If we can all sort of come together and sort of communicate well, then, we're always loud, in the stands, and we make our points heard after as well and on the social forum. So, listen, let's just try and get together and try and get some wins under the belt.
Baz,
So
you were the one
you
that handed
put Sullivan
Pellegrini.
signing off for John Joe Shelby.
Yeah.
Baz, you handed Pellegrini his contract, didn't you? Anything your fault?
Mate, yeah, big time. I think that comment's been taken out of context, to be fair. And just touching on other points that have been made, I might be wrong here. I'm not slagging no one off. I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way to support the club. If you're a fan of West Ham, you're a fan of West Ham. Whether you sit at home and watch them, whether you go and watch them, don't make no one any better than any other. That comment, I think, was more about the fans wanting Pellegrini, not about us to blame for him. I think because when it come around with him coming, we wanted this high-profile manager. He coming, and I'll be honest. At the time, I was excited and I thought it was right because the way they backed him in the first window. When January come and he weren't backed again financially, because that's what that manager will need: continuous and regular financial backing. When that didn't happen, is when I got worried. And from again February, March time, I questioned him. And then April, that was enough. April come, and that was enough for me. And I couldn't be doing with him no more. And I still can't now. We could win the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. I wouldn't care a bollocks. I don't think he's a West Ham manager. The fans will always take blame. As the reason that man's still in a job now is because the owners of the football club will leave him here. Cheers, Dom. Will leave him here as they did with Slaven Bilic to deflect any blame from them. And it's all be at one focus, which will be the manager of the football club, which I understand. You don't sack a team, you sack a manager. The players have to take responsibility because they ain't reacted. But that manager picks that team. He watches every single team we play, or should do, in his coaching team before. And every single team we line up and play the same way against. It can't be right. No other club would do that. Unless it's Manchester City or Liverpool. Who can get away with it because they're that good? We ain't. We're a bang average club. We'll be blamed because it deflects any blame off of the owners of the football club. And the reason the owners will continually get blamed is because they took away what we was to make us something we ain't, and they haven't delivered that point.
Wally, I'll bring you back in. We've got 2 questions left. For what are the scores so far?
Okay, so in third place we got Dom with 10, and then Marshy in second with 14, and Baz in the lead with 16.
Mark
Noble's number, isn't it? 16?
There you go. Must be the lucky number. Wally, I'm going to put you back in the room again. All right, guys, 2 questions left. So you got all this time to get more thumbs. Question number 4. All you guys, you all get to a good amount of away games, and I think a lot of American Hammers would be interested to know, what does a perfect away day look like for you? Who are we playing? What's the score? Where are you going? What happens around you? Baz, we'll start with you.
I don't think it matters who you play, where you play, or when you play. It could be a red hot Saturday afternoon in Bournemouth, down the coast, or it could be a pissing down, freezing cold Wednesday night in Manchester. It wouldn't matter. West Ham fans will still sell out their allocation. And you'll meet people at the pub before the game. You'll have a good laugh and sing around in the pub and everything will be good. You get in the ground. And again, West Ham ain't just about winning. West Ham will react. But when West Ham fans see nothing given back is when they turn more nastily or it goes real dead. But a good away day for West Ham for me, as I say, it don't matter where it is, when it is. The fan base that follows this club on away days, the 3,000 or whatever it may be, is solid, and it's a 3,000 fan base, in my opinion, that probably travels away one of the best out of the whole club, out of the whole league.
We definitely are. Dom.
Dom's gone back to work.
Out. You're cutting out.
You're cut out in a minute, sir.
Marshy, go ahead.
What's the perfect?
Should we go to me? Or is Dom still there?
What's the perfect away day?
Perfect away day. I think if I had to pick a team, I'm not.
I'm still here.
Wish you weren't.
He took me.
He's
Burnley. Not Burnley.
Yeah, go
That'd
on.
be a good away day. After the hellish experience we had at Turf Moor a couple of weeks ago, not Burnley makes a good away day. But no, on a serious note, the perfect away day for me is like a summer's day, like a bit like Watford, this season, last game of the season, sunny day, beers are flowing, everyone knows each other, everyone's familiar, you have a good laugh, and then you go and win like the way we have in the past few visits. We come out happy, go for a few after, and then head home in good spirits. And it's not too far either. Whereas Burnley, that was a nightmare from top to bottom. So, but yeah, I think summer days make away days much better than the current winter climate we're in at the moment.
I don't think anybody wants to relive that Burnley match. Marshy.
I think I know you're not asking for a specific game here, but I think when you go to the likes of Tottenham in their new stadium as well, I think when you're the first visitors there, they hadn't conceded a goal, they hadn't lost a game. We go there, win the game like we do. I think obviously you might have a bit of knife and fork before the game, bit of breakfast, get up to a boozer where, like I say, all the West Ham that travel away, familiar faces congregate, have a good few beers, have a sing song. If there's that opportunity to do that, loud and proud in the pubs, let us know. Letting people know that we're there, sort of who we are, which obviously you want on the pitch as well. Getting your foot in, let these players know that you're there, and building up with the atmosphere, and then sort of in the concourse having a bit of a drink, and all the rest of it that comes with that, a bit of a singing, and then the game starts, you win it like we do. Probably one of the last times, barring I think Norwich own this season. I think last season at Tottenham was one of the games that I remember that we had to dig in a bit, and everyone had to fight for each other. We were a unit going forward, coming back. I think everyone knew their jobs, which is probably a bit hard to believe now with Pellegrini because they look like strangers. But away from that sort of game, I think getting a 1-0 victory, a clean sheet, playing really well, deservedly so, coming away with a result. Obviously, them sort of two games I think mean a little bit more. With regard to the other teams in the league. But listen, like echoing what Baz says, really, I think we could go anywhere, rain or shine, all the time, basically. We're all there, we sell out. Even people that don't get to go as often as maybe some of us do, we know, their support's always there as well. And they love, given opportunities to go, they sort of bite your arm off, if you like. And I think just everyone coming together, everyone sharing the same love for the football, for West Ham. Everyone showing what it means, showing the love, showing the commitment, passion. And I think as well, sometimes, the players grow on that message, and I think they see that from the support. And then, when they're really prepared to dig in, I think we know that we can get certain results that maybe mean a little bit more. So, everyone coming together, enjoying the day, bit of booze, and then 3 points, hopefully, at the end.
That's always nice. So we've got one question left, and then we'll let Dom get back to his dinner break. There's been plenty of talking points.
Back to work.
Oh, sorry, fella. Plenty of talking points
I
for
ain't
the
had no
season so
dinner.
far. Board's been blaming fans. We were on the brink of European places, now relegation candidates, manager woes, etc. But what's the most surprising thing that's happened this season and why? Baz, let's start with you.
You started with me last time.
All right, Dom, let's start with you.
This is brilliant.
You want last? We can
I'll
do
leave
that.
him. What's most surprising? The fact we spent 150 odd million and got worse. This is the third season out of the 4 we've been at the London Stadium, and we're in a relegation battle with 3 different managers as well, but one board. So you could say it's no surprise that we've got worse under this board, but you can also argue they've dug in their pockets. We spent money, and it's not all gone to plan. But at the end of the day, it's all about recruitment. I just think sometimes I think we need to take a step back. The expectation can sometimes be too high. When you sign players like Anderson, Fornals, and Haller, you've also got to remember they're coming to the Premier League, and it's a much tougher league than the respective leagues they come from: Italy, Germany, Spain. It's a different kettle of fish for them. So, but at the same time, they're good players for a club like us. I mean, you saw Haller link with Bayern Munich, Anderson linked with like the Italian giants, Fornals, I think, was linked with Barcelona. They're coming to us, and when they're linked with those teams, it sort of raises your hope. The surprising thing is how bad some of the signings have turned out, I guess. But that's down to the club and the manager, really, because we don't know how to utilise players or play to their strengths, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's a different game now, isn't it? Where these players come in, they need time, but you don't have time. That's the one thing we don't have. Marshy?
I think the most surprising thing, I think the fact that Roberto's still between the sticks, I think given the amount of games he's had now, the amount of mistakes, I think it's clear for all to see. I question the fact myself. Is he even a professional footballer? Is he a goalkeeper to any degree? I don't know where he's come from. Was it some side in Spain or something or whatever? But it's clear to see that I think, when you've got a strong keeper, like we have in Fabianski, I think when they realised that, Lucas was going to be out for a longer period of time, needing the surgery on the hip, at Bournemouth, I think it was. I think it should have been alarm bells ringing for the governors at the board to spend a bit of money, but obviously when they weren't able to do that, I think bringing a sort of free agent goalkeeper, I think there may have been a couple. I think one of them, me and Don were saying about that Michel Vorm at Tottenham before he signed his new deal there. Obviously free agent, you can bring him in at any time. I think, they probably dropped a bollock there, and I think when you've got a strong character at the back, I think that leads out as well from the back to the front, sort of sets an example and maybe gets the best out of the players. And then I think at the moment the negativity going around is the fact that Pellegrini playing people out of position. I think not getting the best out of the players, like Dom said. The bloke's been given £150 million since he's been here. They're quality signings, and I think obviously they do better in different sides. And I think a lot of that stems down to Pellegrini. You've got to be able to motivate these players properly. You've got to be able to get them working 110%. And as West Ham supporters, that travel, and as we've discussed, even if you don't get the opportunity every week, like luckily we do, all you want to see is a bit of grit, passion, desire, want for the ball. Work hard off the ball, work hard when you've got it, attack. The opposition goal. Create some chances, be prolific. Be clinical in front of goal. Whichever thing in this case we're not. And the league don't lie at the moment. We go to Chelsea tomorrow and get beat, which pinch to a pound of shit we will, because that's what's going on at the moment. If ever there's a reason to sack Pellegrini, I think anyone that would disagree. I think he's in a minority, to be honest. I think they either love Pellegrini as a manager. Don't get me wrong, the bloke's a winner. He's more than proved that. I think, with the likes of visit in Spain, Villarreal was it, and, like Real Madrid and Man City coming back, and obviously got a good payday in China. And he may look set to get another payday here. But, listen, hopefully we can kick on and sort of right the wrongs. And hopefully, if it is going to be Roberto and, the fans, the support have tried to be behind him, and a lot of people have said, we do need to get behind all these players, but all the support are getting behind them and they're still not doing it. So hopefully this is now going to be time for a change and we can all kick on again together.
Chaps,
So,
I'm really
Baz, what's the
sorry.
most?
I'm needed back at work, so I'm gonna have to go. I'm really sorry.
You're all good, Dom.
You know what?
You were pretty far behind anyway.
That's all right.
Just messing with you. Just messing with
That's
you.
all right.
You're all good. We appreciate you
All
coming
right.
on. Baz,
No
what was
worries,
the
mate.
most
Thanks for having
surprising
me on.
thing to have happened this
See you later,
season?
guys. Bye.
See you later.
Get
See you,
it.
Dom.
I'm surprised with the reaction of the club. Firstly, since Oxford. So when we went to Oxford, we was obviously on a good run. I'm not saying the side that put out wasn't good enough, because I believe it was, but I don't believe we took the cup serious enough. We didn't at Newport either and won there. Didn't play well and won. This fan base don't deserve the we're more interested in the league. We can't win the league. You know, we have a realistic chance of winning a League Cup or an FA Cup compared to anything else. And this fan base would give its left arm for a day out at Wembley or for a good cup run. And them things would take a lot of pressure off of any manager and any board for us. And we just don't treat it, in my opinion, with enough respect. I don't care whether he's won the Premier League at Man City or not. Us three here could win the Premier League at Man City with that checkbook, but you need to show your fans that you have interest, you know, and every manager we've had under this board have never really taken the cup seriously. That's my worry. We made good investment in the summer. The reaction after losing has been abysmal from all the players. You know, I'm a massive Mark Noble fan, massive. But is he leading them right? You know, is he getting the reaction out of the rest of the team? And this surprises me that it's not, because we've heard before of dressing room bust-ups where he's had James Collins pulling him off. You know, them stories have been leaked, which happened last season or whenever it was under Moyes. Why is that reaction from them players not there now? Now, why do these players not come and thank that travelling support? I ain't been many away games this year because I've been too busy with work. Why do they not come and thank them fans that have made that trip, whether it's in Manchester, Brighton, wherever it may be? Why are they not coming over there and clapping them fans and saying, sorry for that shit performance, but thank you lot for coming. You're what keep us going, and without you lot, we'd be nothing. I don't get why we don't react. Other sides go through a bad spell, and there's always a reaction. We haven't had a reaction for, is it 8 games now? I think we picked up 2 points. Sheffield United at home, we shouldn't have got a point at, and Bournemouth away. Apart from that, we've had nothing. You know, results have flattered us. The 2 goals back against Newcastle, it's not worth it. The 2 goals back against Spurs, they're pointless because they ain't fair. And Spurs beating us 3-2 weren't a fair reflection on that game.
You'd rather us 3-0, wouldn't you?
And that's how it should have been, Marshy. You know, we've got away with it. The reaction. Don't get me wrong. There's obviously some reaction because you got 2 goals back, but the reaction of want and the reaction of desire and the reaction of it meaning something, you know, and even now, you know, I've not seen a West Ham player tweet for 8 weeks except for Antonio. As soon as we win, they're on there. Oh, what great fans! What great fans! You've done this, you've done that. Thanks for your support. You're amazing. Well, why are we not amazing when we lose? No, we're still there cheering you on for 90 minutes.
So you guys,
we're never going anywhere, are we? Players can come and go, but we're still here. So
you guys are boots on the ground. How close are we to another moment from Burnley of last season?
Do you know what? If I'm honest with you, and I said this the other day, my honest opinion is that Burnley made a big reaction for that summer, for them to have to do something. But when you protest, you don't just protest once and then forget about it. We never done any more. That had to be regular. I don't think people should run on the pitch. And the reason I don't think people should run on the pitch, because it's not directly players' fault. I know no players are assaulted, and you read this shit about Mark Noble throwing a fan to the floor, this, that, and the other. You know, that was heat of the moment. That's not because he hates the geezer. You know, what Bubble's done, running stick in the corner flag, is an old school thing from Upton Park. You need more action like happened on them terraces. That's what you need. And if you can't get that because of security reasons or whatever, boycott. Do not walk into that football ground.
The problem is, I think if you're on the pitch and whatever, I think that's the easiest sort of avenue and alleyway, isn't it? I mean, like you say, it's not the players' fault. What it is, to some degree.
The worst thing is, Marsh, you know yourself. You cross that barrier, you're banned. You're fined. You're never going again. You know, You don't need to do that. There's other ways of doing it where you don't need to do it. Make a proper scene. Stand outside the car park.
Mate, you'd argue that you ain't missing a lot at the moment, though. Not to encourage
I
getting banning orders and whatever, but they seem to be putting the effort into more of that. They're more interested in, who's done this, who's done that, who's been on that camera, that CCTV. And listen, we're all of us, we're all in the shit together. We're all in this dogfight together. It's going to be a relegation battle. Listen, we ain't going to be picking up no more points. And if that Arsenal game, that next home game, weren't on a night game, mate, there'd be people on the pitch again. And maybe at the end of the day, that Burnley-esque thing, that got them spending money. Is put your money where your mouth is. And they've done that. We just haven't had the right man in order to we've got the good players there, but we just haven't got the manager to motivate them.
Listen, I stopped giving out likes because I don't want Dom to fall farther behind now that he's not here. But it brings up a good point, and I like the conversation where we are. What happened? Why did we stop? I mean, I looked at it and went, listen, the board has actually been pretty came at win impact, and the thing is they shut up. Fully actually shut up and let the manager and the.
Is it me? Because
should we have continued pressure for the last 2 years?
Yeah, 100% we should have. And do you know what? I don't think the reaction inside the stadium would have happened if the march that was planned went ahead. I think that stopped made a lot of inside the ground happen, and that was the reaction because of the march not happening. Again, that's what I'm saying. If you do it inside the ground, you're only going to hurt yourself. If you're a West Ham fan, you're not going to achieve nothing because they won't care that you're on the pitch and you're protesting. Because all they'll do is they'll get the old Bill and the stewards to watch videos, point out who you are, and send you a lifelong ban.
Listen, they'll get someone else to just take your ticket as well.
Of course they will, and that's why they sell them cheap.
If you and me never done it, then I'm not being funny. There'd be shitloads of others, and rightly so.
But imagine, Marshy, 5,000 people stood outside that car park gate, not letting the team coach in, not letting the managers and that in. And then not going into the ground. That's exactly how it should be, in my opinion. No one gets nicked.
Like what we had at that FA Cup game at Wigan the other year when they beat us 2-0. Yeah. And we had the Rees-Oxford thing, and we had, I remember, obviously, we was having our interviews. I lost it a little bit, passionate about losing. We don't want to be losing. We're West Ham, that's what's going to happen. We're not a successful club, but we want to show that commitment and that every week up and down the motorways and whatever. But when David Gold and Sullivan were in that car park, I mean, that's the only credit that I'll ever give them is the fact that Sullivan ran off afterwards, but they were there to listen to, obviously my old man was in there, I was in there, you was there, I think Don may have even been there. The list is endless, and they'll speak to a given few, and I'm not suggesting that it should be a few that may be able to contact the board, have a few more answers, but we seem to be the things that they seem to be saying. They seem to be getting come a cropper about. I mean, look at the Shelby comment to me. David Sullivan openly said, when it came about that £12 million initially for Shelby, we'd just gone out the cup, and you're looking at the likes of Rees-Oxford and Kuyate or whatever in the middle. We seem to have 6 or 7 first-team players. Similar to the Oxford game, similar to the Newport game. We scraped through the Newport one and obviously lost at Wigan. And, you sort of think, well, if you're calling someone like John Joe Shelby useless, you need to have something to back that up. And we've just watched players that ain't got the ability and ain't got the arse to want to get their foot in and whatever. And then even this season, like Shelby comes down and scores the goal. All right, Roberto made another clanger, another countless clanger. But it's not the point. I think they need to be made accountable a little bit more. And if they're not making these relevant decisions,
do you know what, Mike? That's what I think the problem is with where we are now. Let's be honest. Would this have happened at Upton Park?
No, of course not. No,
I don't think so. And I think the move has made people's expectation level, that's what I said earlier, go high, so high. And
of course,
as I said,
well, they helped us out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they have to take responsibility. Look, as we are at the minute, my opinion, everything we watch and every result we get is solely down to that manager.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. He's the one to do with the ground. And
no, he's people still blaming the ground and the stadium, Again, they're silly things that will always be there because of what the owners have done. West Ham fans, we've never known us, apart from that last season at Upton Park and that season under Harry Redknapp where we finished 5th, and the 85, 86 boys, apart from them, we've never been competing. We've never been right up there.
I think obviously they're trying
any
to get,
fan,
with all the new ground and everything. I think they were, Brady said it, didn't she? I mean, I think I've seen Vinny upload a video of,
did you
what
see her comment this week as well?
I didn't, to be fair. No.
She quoted a thing about Raheem Sterling and Joe Gomez, and the title of it, her words were, "Football fans are easily misled." This is the woman who's told us bollocks. This should not be at our club. What she's done business-wise, fair play for them. Not for us, for them.
She's the only one that's made the profit, I think, out of the club turning over.
And Marsh, do you know what? I think Golden Sullivan could. I don't think they'll ever get West Ham fans respect, but I think they could earn a little bit more if they got rid of her. To tweet in that first season when we had all the aggro in the ground at first because it wasn't ready for football. When we drew 0-0 to Stoke after the game, tweet, "No trouble inside the stadium today."
Yeah,
that's the real result. Fuck yourself.
I'm just one of them.
Fuck yourself. I think don't embarrass us.
It's all this. I know I keep relating back to all this, if they were supporters of the club and everything. Listen, I know they're very, very wealthy business people, and fair play to that. You've got to put a lot of work into it. You've got to have that desire. I just fucking sort of wish that they show that commitment and desire to the football club, as opposed let the business side of things take a back burner for a minute. We know what we're looking at with the ground. We know what we're looking at with the facilities. Listen, we don't play at Upton Park anymore. We wish we would. We're dropping a lot of points that arguably, we'd get at Upton Park, but. Listen, I hate the ground as well. And in fairness, as a recognised supporter of this club, it's getting a chore, mate. At the end of the day, you got to, it's standing up to but if they've really got the best interests of this club at heart, put a bit more in, show what you want to do.
The problem is, mate, they prove they don't, and that's the thing, and that's why. Going back to the protest, there's no point in having one protest and it all going. They properly shit themselves when it happened. Properly shit themselves. But imagine that happening at that ground. And I know they'll always fill it. Seeing Betway, and I know they're the club sponsors, tweeting about come and see Jose Mourinho's first game against West Ham. Don't entitle with that. Come and watch West Ham take on Jose Mourinho's Tottenham. Not give it the Tottenham thing at first. From the top to bottom of the club, it's disgusting. One bad apple
even that, whoever it was, behind the official account with "See You Saturday, Jose" and all that.
Pathetic.
And then Tottenham give it all back, saying, we've seen their little gripe and whatever, which was fucking spot on. And it guts me to say, but they're making us like a laughing stock. I mean, there might
exactly
be,
that.
There might be supporters, but
Marsh, it's gone from the old days of everyone blaming Jack Sullivan for doing it to our own media team doing it now.
I think everyone's got to be accountable, and if it's going to be and I think whoever it is that's writing these reports about the fans are to blame, I think
it's no one. Marsh, don't believe it.
No.
It's like all these polls.
It's a desperate measure, though, isn't it? It's a desperate
measure. It's like all these polls.
Fans can only take so much, right? So you're either. If you've got to protect the culture of the club, and if you're not doing that, you at least have to produce results on the pitch. If both of those things go, then everybody's up in arms, and I think that's kind of where we are now.
I think it was. Do you know what? I think what would be easy is to say, listen, if you ain't, it's like when Anderson gets dragged at half time at Burnley. It's like when he gets dragged on the hour. He doesn't finish in 90 minutes because, like Baz says, and rightly so, he's not a winger. He's probably more influential in the attacking role in the final third in that little 10 role that Lanzini takes up. But if you ain't, but if you ain't if your heart and soul ain't in it, and I generally don't believe the three of them at the top of this club, the hierarchy ain't in it. And if you ain't, I wish it was as easy to turn around and go, listen, see you later then, down the road. Look at Charlton today. They've had a buyer, and they're not on Sheikh Mansour, and they're obviously not as well off as Man City. They're a club that have been able to take Charlton over. Hopefully, bring them back to the Premier League where they belong. It's a great away day. I know a lot of good Charlton people. My mates at school, and obviously like family connections as well with Charlton now, with my cousin's new fella. And I just think if we put all our heart and soul into it, you've moved us to this ground. David Gold, and I quote, turning around saying in the first 5 years or 7 years, we're going to be competing for the Champions League. We're never ever going to. We're getting knocked out of the Europa stages, mate. We can't even qualify for that.
That 7-year plan started the day they won that permission to own that ground or to be the tenants of that ground. That didn't start from the day we walked in. That's from when we first got permission to be there. How many years ago was that? When was London? 2012?
Yeah, that's what, 7
That's
years
7
ago?
years. That's their
So
plan.
that's the
Are
7 year
we
goal.
getting in the Champions League? No, these people have been frauds.
Mate,
And,
do you know
and
what?
you
Do you know
just
what the problem is?
you just say about Charlton getting new owners and they're not Sheikh Mahood, blah blah blah. You know,
Yeah.
mate, I wouldn't care if fucking Ronald McDonald owned West
Yeah,
Ham.
no.
If
I don't. As long
every
as
single
there's-
week that club was what it meant. Since we left Upton Park, since Bobby Moore turned that light off that night, that football club has been destroyed. You know,
Yeah.
the only thing left of West Ham now is claret and blue and on forever blowing bubbles. The fan base is toxic. It was never like that. We got relegated all the fucking time. They never
Well, I
turned
think
on
if-
each other.
I think where we do the interviews and that, Bez, you look around the ground, and what's the first thing that you see as you walk over that bridge?
Go on.
You're looking at the badge, the crest, West Ham London.
London.
It's-
All
it's
of that is finished.
It's a business class sort of. Listen, West Ham United has always been the working class man, the working class family. You want to take your kids, go down Green Street, walk down a shitty alleyway, go and get a fish and chips, go and have a couple of pints with a bit of music on. Listen, this ain't no like middle class gentrified shit. This is going back in the day. I saw Lomas and John Moncur after the game, didn't we? You know, the last game,
Yeah.
Tottenham defeat.
Yeah.
What we're crying out for is, listen, they're not the best players, and they'll probably say themselves they're not. John Moncur was my favourite player growing up. I told him that to his face. They
Marshy,
love it.
we still
lack
sing
players
about
like that.
He
we
was
still
all
sing
hot.
about Christian. We still sing about Christian Daly. We still sing about Carlton Cole. You know,
Yeah.
like you just said, it's not how good they were; it's what they give.
It's hard
No,
on the
and-
sleeve. I mean, look at Colton Cole taking that pay cut when we got relegated.
There you go. You
then
wouldn't
you got
get any
someone
of
like-
that now.
And someone like Defoe handing in a transfer request and saying, "Oh, I was young and naive," and all the rest of it. We just want bodies that are gonna. I know you love Defoe. Sorry about that. I listen. I don't dislike him, but I think that's.
I
all
think
believe in what you read.
I think he made a bad mistake. I do, and I think he's, in fairness to him, he's been a man, and he's been in a TV interview, and he said it was the
Yeah.
worst thing of his life, and
Let
he was
me,
young
yeah.
and naive.
Let
You
me
know,
wrap
and-
this up because we're coming towards an hour now. But just give me a number. How many years left do we have of this board, Marshy?
Fucking hell, as minimal as feasibly possible, hopefully.
In what respect? What that we want or like?
Not that we want, that you think they'll be around.
Mate, I don't think they'll go anywhere.
I think the earliest possible time. I think as soon as they get a bid that they look like and it will turn their eye, I think that's them gone. And this will be the proving point of what I've just been saying about: are they supporters? Have they got?
Well, that's
The
what they've
best
been saying,
intentions
right?
of-
But I think they've got, like, what is it? In 3 years' time, 2 years' time, they take more of a cut from a sale.
Yeah,
I think that's what's written
if they're obviously sounding out in the right way, and anyone can do that. But let's just see when they get the first offer on the board, how far around their heads turn. They'll be like an owl, mate, 24/7. Their heads
Do you
will be
think?
down all over the place.
Do you really think?
I generally think if they get a good enough offer, I would be fucking astounded if
Yeah,
they're
but
still
mate,
owning this club.
they're too old now to do anything else like that again. Especially
Yeah, but
David Gold.
they don't need it though, mate, do they? It's another payday for them,
David Sullivan
essentially.
don't. David Sullivan don't. David
No,
Sullivan. I'm not so sure. I'm not saying he needs the money, but I'm not so sure David Gold would give it up so easy.
So you're saying it could happen tomorrow, Baz, and you're saying it's not going to happen.
My opinion, for it to happen, is fans have to honestly really boycott it. No, it kills me. The thought of not going to West Ham, Chelsea tomorrow hurts me properly. But I honestly believe that's what it's got to take. And I think it's not just me. I ain't going to make no change. I'm nobody. I'm a fan like the other 59,000 that's sitting there. It needs that stadium to be empty. It needs to be on TV, embarrassing them owners of what they've done to the point where they don't want to show their face because they've destroyed a genuinely well-known football club. And that's what it should come to. And that's the only way you'll get them out. Without, we could finish 17th every year and they'll get their money off the Sky TV every year.
Revenue, innit? Yeah.
They would be in their element. Why would they leave? Jack Sullivan will take it over. And that's why it's with the women now learning it. If you want them out of the football club, you strongly have to protest and don't go. And don't enter that football ground. Don't buy a ticket. Don't buy in a club shop. But unfortunately, there's people, maybe 18, 19-year-olds, who go now on their own, not with their mum and dads, who don't know any different. And that's all they know. No, my niece, she'd never see Upton Park. She never realised what it was like to be a West Ham fan, getting beaten 8-0 at home or 6-0 or being 3-0 up, losing 4-3, whatever. She don't realise that.
That's like my little, but that's like my little one. To be fair, like when I get to take him, he's going to he's going to think that all this is probably brilliant, and rightly so. And I'll take him all the time.
And let's be fair, it looks good. It does look really good.
It does. Listen, it looks attractive, which is why I can't understand. To be fair, for the life of me, why we haven't had someone like testing their arm at the moment.
Wally, what's the most surprising thing that you've seen, Wally, this season? What surprised you the most? And then give us the scores.
All right. I think it was the guys, in the last couple of games, maybe like 3 matches ago, they get the ball and then they're like throwing their hands up like they don't know what to do.
They've given up, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't know what to do. Hasn't Pellegrini told them, aren't they well drilled on what the plan is? But they're throwing up their arms like I don't know what to do.
Do you know what you saying that about Pellegrini? Spurs were 3-0 up against West Ham Saturday. Wow. And Jose Mourinho was on that touchline, still drilling his team. Where was our manager?
Yep.
Sat down. And I watch it every week, and I make this comment. The first 45 minutes, we could be behind in most games, like we do. The opposition have their subs out warming up. Ours come out at half-time or just after. Why? Why is it? Because they know the change ain't going to happen until then. We've got a very, very stubborn and semi-retired man in our football club.
Yeah, but that's what Pellegrini does, though. He don't need the
pressure. Yeah, but he don't need the pressure of change, does he? He's getting a nice pay packet. That's why he's got to leave this club.
Yeah. Well, I can't understand. Just quickly, why are they giving him the next?
Keep going, games? Wally. Take over for a minute.
All right. Poor John.
He needs a piss.
Yeah, he's a big piss.
He's gone.
Yeah, keep going.
I was just about to say. I think he brings substitutes on when we've lost another goal. We might already be 2 down, we're then 3 down, and he's changing it then. And all right, we're coming back in, but we're still losing. Like
I walked out Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we go 3-0 down and then bring on what do you call it?
He brought on Carlos Sanchez.
Sanchez, a defensive midfielder at 3-0 down. What do you want to do? Not concede anymore? The only time I'll praise him was last season when we played Huddersfield at home. That's the only time we was behind in the game. I can't remember. I think it was 3-1 down. We won 4-3, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. That game, I don't know if you remember, the last 20 minutes, half hour, when Samir Nasri, he was brilliant for us that day.
Yeah, I think he won it for us.
Everything was all out attack. There was no defending. Everything was all out attack that game.
But that's the gutting thing, Baz. You just said it. He clearly knows how to do it. So why is he not doing it? Or have the players just lost that connection? And
I look again, Marsh, and people talk about our net spend or whatever. Net spend don't really bother me, or what we spent. Or you spent 100, but you've sold 80. I don't care. If that 80 million's a load of shit that don't deserve to get in the team, good, let them go.
Yeah,
but. And I'm not saying these two are the right, but you just look. What happens if Haller gets injured?
I've said this for mate.
What happens? We found this out with Fabianski. Why the fuck did we let Andy Carroll go, and Chicharito, and Perez? All three. I'm not saying any of them are right, but why let them all go when you've got nothing at all?
Something, innit? Get them off the wage bill.
Mate, but who's that? Is that the manager's choice, or is that above him?
I don't think that's the manager.
I can't believe for 1 minute, in the manager's defence now, he would want to leave himself with 1 forward and a jetty. I don't believe it.
That's when you've got now on the head.
All 3 of them players that left the football club were on big money. Big money.
And that's what they want. That's what they clearly want to do, isn't it?
And that's my point. So we could get Pochettino in tomorrow. We could get Jurgen Klopp in tomorrow. No manager will succeed under that ownership. I love and I really, really want West Ham to get Eddie Howe. But I'll be honest with you, if I was Eddie Howe, I'd look and I'd think, why would I want to leave where I'm at a football club with full control from the kids to the first team? They all play his style and his philosophy. That's what they're taught. So they all know and slide in. Why would I want to leave to go to West Ham where the owners are going to get involved, tell me I've got to sell him because he's on too much money before we can't get nothing for him,
I think
to cut the wage bill.
I said before in the show, didn't I, the fact that he's clearly he's been there a long time, probably through the youth ranks and whatever, and he's not been elsewhere, created what he has at Bournemouth, and that's commendable. But at the same time, it might be a situation that he's not playing the worst football. Bournemouth are not in the worst position, but has he taken them as far as he can go? Does he need a fresh, bit of fresh air, lease of life? Are West Ham going to be able to give him that? And I'm not being funny, Baz. Like, I've echoed what you said and vice versa. And I think, we probably talk for the majority that if we let this potential opportunity go, all
but
this
we're
thing
letting
about,
Marsh, we're letting it go. There's 3 football clubs looking to get rid of their manager and get a new one. No, and all of it, Tottenham wanted to do it, reacted, done it. Big team mentality. Arsenal have had it for a few weeks.
And
They obviously they had a
Southampton
reason.
now, isn't it?
Done it. There you go. Saints have been it. And you look at our next 3 games: Chelsea away, Wolves away, Arsenal at home. By then, Arsenal are going to have a new manager, probably have their tails up and beat us. I personally don't see us getting nothing from them 3 games.
Mate,
which
they'd have beaten us with Emery, let alone with that.
That then takes us to Southampton away. Southampton's next 2 home games are against Norwich and Watford. 2 very winnable games.
You know as well as I do, through watching them like you have as well, you know exactly what's going to happen if this situation is still the same when we go to Southampton.
Do you honestly think, because I don't think Tottenham would have beat us last Saturday if they still had Pochettino. I'm not saying we'd have won.
No,
it would have
not necessarily. Probably a draw.
Would have been a boring 0-0 draw.
I don't think we'd have beaten them because we haven't.
But they reacted, and we're not. And all this is 15 million quid. Well, fuck you. You've just saved £100,000 a week on Carroll.
Yeah, well, the problem is, mate,
100 on Chicharito.
Like I said about that Southampton game, you tell me in the current status with Pellegrini, with all this shit going on, you tell me what's going to happen in them next 4 games. We've got what tomorrow? Wolves, Arsenal. You tell me what's going to happen down at Southampton.
If Southampton don't beat, Watford and Norwich, I think we'll get a result.
What I'm looking for is that we're not going to get a result, are we? Because you've got to go down there. You're going to get physicality. It's going to be, is it a night game? I think it's a night game, isn't it? Is it R5?
Yeah, it's a late game on a Saturday.
So there we go. So we know what's happened in the other 3 o'clock kickoffs. We haven't got the bollocks. We're not physical. We don't turn up against physical teams. The likes of Anderson and even Fornals, they know how good they are. And again, I guess it all just relates back to Pellegrini. If you're not getting the best out of the players, why ain't the board looking at the Arsenal thing? Their attendance last night was, what was it, 14,000?
Mate, and that's exactly why they've reacted. And I said it earlier on. That's what we have to do. If you really mean it, that's what you've got to do. But just keep going. And
mate, I'm not going
because I'm protesting.
But I generally don't think they'll budge though, Baz. I don't think they'll look and go. Yeah, I don't think they'll look and go like, I don't think they're going to look and go, fuck me, what we got fucking Billy Bollocks at home and there's only 13,000 of us here. I don't think they're just, like you said, they're all about the revenue, they're all about the profit. If you ain't going to do it, the next one's going to do it.
Yeah, but if that football ground went down to a 30,000 ground and was half empty, that's embarrassing. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Same as Arsenal last night. And if that's continuous, there comes a point where you think we're doing something wrong and we're looking stupid.
The problem is of Arsenal, their owners have looked at it and thought, we know what we need. All right, they've got Lundberg in interim charge or whatever. They can do the same with us. They'll just stick any.
There's no way they haven't got someone ready. Same as Spurs, because that's what proper football clubs do. And probably to a degree, Everton. Until Everton have got that person there, I don't think they'll make the. I just don't
know what they see. I don't know why we don't. Essentially, it's a generational thing. It's moving with the times. This sort of thing weren't happening at Upton Park, but now you've got to move. And if it's a case that you ain't won a game in 8 games, is that not enough? Is it not enough to see? I don't know what game that they watch. Tottenham, Palace, Everton, Sheffield Wednesday,
do you know the thing for me? You look at the result and you look at Spurs 3-2. Let them 2 goals flatter us, and it makes it seem a lot closer game. Someone tweeted me earlier, we had 47% possession and 11 shots. Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Them 11 shots must have been pretty shit. I didn't even see the goals. I walked out. I don't remember a shot first half.
I'm not saying it weren't 11 by any means, but I think the only opportunity I see the first half was that hella header up my end.
Yeah, there you go. And
so I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know, I've been out back to you guys in America. I feel guilty leaving you out here. I come over in August for the do in Vegas. And even you look, I see the commitment levels you give, and I take my hat off to you. getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 to watch a game at 6, 7. No, it's phenomenal. The owners of the football club don't see this, and you've got other people in Australia, across the world, supporting this club. And as I said earlier, whether you go like we do, we're lucky enough to go. It doesn't make me a better supporter than either of you two that I attend matches and you don't because of where you live. You're
definitely.
West Ham fans. Your input, your opinion is good as mine or anyone who does all 38 games every season. It's irrelevant wherever you go. But to continually be treated like idiots by the owners of the football club can only come for so long, in my opinion. And I can't see now how it can go anymore, and their comments, we'll give it 3 games or until we're in the bottom 3. Fuck you. Don't treat me like an idiot.
Well, not only treating them, but what does that say to the players? What does that say to the manager?
What does it say to the world of football?
It doesn't motivate anybody to do anything better. Of course it
don't. We'll wait until we go there, or we'll wait until Fabianski's back because we think that's a big thing. Well, I'm sorry, Fabianski don't fucking make Yarmolenko and Anderson run up and down wings and defend. And these are silly things, and I go back to it with him. Our manager sets us up with 4 at the back. We play wing or fullbacks that have to get forward and get involved. So as soon as they've gone, their cover is your 2 wingers, which is Yarmolenko and Anderson normally, or Snodgrass or Antonio over. So they're expected to track back. They ain't fucking defenders. And because it don't work, we get on their backs. Their confidence gets shot to bits. Why don't you look and think, right, I'll have 3 centre-backs. My wing-backs will be, I don't know, Masuaku and Fredericks, or Cresswell and Fredericks. I personally think Masuaku would be a better wing-back. With Declan Rice holding, I've always got 4 people behind the ball, always defending.
No, mate,
it's stubbornness. That's what it is for me. It's just pure stubbornness.
That's what turns me, because I was part of that. I like to consider myself a bit more old school, back your manager, given time. But time after time after time, putting the same square pegs in round holes. And, there's no flexibility with Pellegrini. I don't understand it. We don't have legs through the midfield. We don't have wingers going up and down, getting behind defenders, like you were saying. We're not direct enough for Haller at all. He's waiting for early balls. Nothing's coming into him.
And he's playing up front on his own.
Yeah, exactly.
He's isolated, exposed.
The Spurs game was the first game where I even saw us cross the ball to him. I don't understand.
The problem, I think the Spurs in the second half, when they, the introduction of Antonio after 11 games or 11 weeks or whatever it was, rightly so, we've clearly missed someone like that. That's the first time that I've seen us play a 4-4-2. You could clearly see it. Antonio went straight up the top, scored a great goal, battled, worked hard, tried to bring Haller in. I think that's what we've lacked. And I think, like I say, I'm sorry, that's all down to I think he's frightened of change. I think he wouldn't have changed it unless he didn't have to. And I think the more worrying thing that I always say is that even when you look at sides like Tottenham, we are streets behind, but we're streets behind for the reason that we don't have any strength in depth. If you look at the 3 substitutions that Tottenham make, you're bringing off someone like Ali and you're putting on Eriksen, and you're taking off like Son and you're bringing on someone else.
Yeah, do you know, I agree with you, but at the start of the season, we was happy with our squad and we thought we had 2 players for every position. The problem is, as soon as we got a few injuries, with that in mind,
that's our battle, isn't it?
We had to adapt, mate. Because we didn't have the strength in position. We have to change and be up to date. And I personally don't see him. I don't think he could manage Leicester. And they probably got pound for pound better players than us who will work harder. I don't think he can manage them. I think if you put him back at Man City and Liverpool, it's fine.
I'm not so sure underneath it all. He's probably looking just for a payoff. He's probably thinking, fuck me. Well, I've got another 2 games. Now it's going to be another 3. If he wins tomorrow, and I stand by that, of course I want to win the game. I've got nothing against Chelsea. I don't dislike Chelsea at all, actually. I think it's a good away day, but I'd give anything to win. We'll be happy. But then when we really think about it, we'll be happy for a couple of hours after.
The papers over cracks, mate.
Exactly. And the real issues, just because you've beaten Chelsea, then you might go to Wolves, and the result against Chelsea potentially is no good if you don't back it up when you go to Wolves. And that's another thing. But, I think the strength in depth is a big problem. And when we get injuries, which obviously can't be helped, and we're very used to that now. You know, we've got players on the wage structure like Winston Reid, for argument's sake. Like he can't get in the team. He's been nicking a living for God knows how long.
Yeah,
Like,
but where's that come from, Marshy? Because we was told, I remember on the village, we moved training grounds because of the ground at Chadwell Heath.
yeah, because of too many injuries, yeah.
What do we do wrong?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's in the training. I don't know if it's. I don't know. Well, is it
Something's
the
not right.
is it
For
the,
me?
is it is it the preparation of the pitch or whatever, the training?
I don't know. We can't be that unfortunate that it's always us. Something somewhere can't be right. And to be fair, I've been to our training ground, and it is quite mediocre. And
Yeah.
it is, to be fair, it's nothing great.
And they've done it all up now, haven't they?
Yeah, well, they've done both, haven't they? But
Yeah.
it's what's there. You know, I've been to Spursies. I've been inside there, and mate, it is incredible. And if you really, really want something so badly, you give everything its best opportunity to be there. You know, for my business, for example, I want to be successful. I ain't going to be successful sat in my arse doing nothing and not having the best product for someone to use and that service. You know, you've got to supply the best thing. And I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Tottenham because of how they've done it. No, they don't have no transfer money, but they ain't left there. They ain't left home. They've got a new ground on their same place. They could have knocked Upton Park down and built a 35,000 seater stadium.
Do you know what that was with the exactly? But do you know what that was with the Upton Park? I sat in that probably more lower for 15, 20 years, and with the season tickets from old man, and we always used to say like they can't get the planning permission because of that bus shelter. Before the end of the last season that we played there, it was all derelict. It was all shut off, and I'm sure that afterwards, somewhere between the lines, reading between the lines, it was you know, when we went into the new place, obviously that bowl there, they were saying that, you know, we could have probably got planning permission for that, and maybe they didn't. Yeah, but chance their arm with it, or
David Sullivan had an investment in that as well, and earned money off of every sale of every flat on that plot.
He's in with Galliard, weren't he?
You know, and that's the thing. So all this bullshit about how you run, and honestly, and I do blame the manager for our performances and our results, but for me, their time at the football club is up, and I haven't known so many West Ham fans to, and it's hard to say this, but I'm actually falling out of love with them. And that's how I feel, because it's not West Ham that I know. There's nothing that makes me want to be at that place now, apart from my mates and hearing bubbles.
Look at what all the clubs are singing, though. You're not West Ham anymore, sold your soul for the shithole and all that.
They're not wrong.
But that doesn't mean, and again, I think I'll probably answer my own question when I say it. That, you know, what does that say to the board? Does that say, shit, like have we messed up here? Is it time to go? Do we be the bigger people, or are they turning around going like the opposite?
There's just a real lack of professionalism at that club, and there has been for years. There's a culture problem. When you do things second rate for so long, it has knock-on effects all throughout the club. We do everything second rate. The stadium move was second rate. The way we redesigned the badge was second rate. The security company that came in for the Olympic Stadium, second rate, instead of doing it goes all through the team. You bring in players, and everything is okay to be second rate, and it just continues to be that way.
Yeah, that first season when we moved there, I used to sit in 217. And our entrance, our turnstile entrance, was the same entrance as away fans. We walked into the concourse full of Bournemouth fans. I was going to say,
I sit in 230, and there was I sit like in the east up at the other side on the east corner at 230, and there were people just flying through that were Bournemouth, and I thought this don't happen.
But Marsh, forgetting that, you know, that was then. I'm seeing pictures last weekend of Spurs fans in the home end.
Mate, where I sit...
What the fuck is happening at the club? It's finished.
Around where I sit, there was a geezer, there was a Chinese fella, and he had a Tottenham shirt on underneath the coat. Couldn't speak any English or anything like that. I mean, he just wanted to watch the game. Fair play to you. But, you know, that sort of thing wouldn't happen at Upton Park. You know, like you say, that you know, the fella said it with the security. It's and that's all down to that. And even with Karen Brady, she's employed the cheapest security firm going.
Yeah, but
When
is
you're
it her?
walking in that,
Is it her? I don't know if it's her, mate. Is it her or is it the London
I don't-
Stadium who deal with it? I don't know.
yeah, it may well be, but I mean,
And
I
this
heard
is the
it might have been
problem.
Brady.
We have no control of our own home. Nothing.
Hmm.
It's disgusting, and this is my point. And everything that West Ham stood for has just been ripped up and torn apart for three people's wealth. Now, and they
Now-
don't appreciate. Now we're having this discussion, as I said to you, you two are out in the States. They don't realise how many lives it actually affects.
Well, we have
And
a hard
listen,
time,
I'm not-
don't we, Wally, getting recognised by the club. Some of foreign supporters groups and stuff like that. Just even getting that recognition is difficult for us.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you know
you're-
why,
you're-
they,
the-
you know
the
why
work-
they do that? Because they want to try and win people over.
The
They're
work- the
they're
work that-
vile.
the
They
work
don't
that,
give a shit.
No, of course they don't. Their art's not in it like all of us. Look at us four sitting here. I mean, what do you think they're doing tonight? Because I tell you something, they're not preparing for a game at Chelsea.
I hope they're watching you, Marshy.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I'm hoping they're watching you guys, because I will say
Marsh, if David Sullivan and David Gold sit here now watching you, what would your honest message be to them?
All right, we're wrapping up on this one because that's a good one.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I'd go all night, but I'm
Not
worried
just
for
Marsh,
Wally there.
all of us. We're all sat there.
I'll keep it short. You want to know what I'd say? I'd say what I've been saying all night. If you're supporters of this football club, I appreciate your business people. At the same time, take your business hat off. Take your business head off. If you're supporters of this football club, do the right thing. And it's one of two things. It's either make ready money available, not unlimited funds, obviously, but improve the side to the best of your ability. Get a manager that wants it. Get a manager that echoes the support everywhere we go, home and away. Or if not, and if you don't fancy it, do the right thing. Sell up. Make it available to someone that's going to want to come in and push us to that next level. Because they're not going to do it.
Go on, Baz.
But my message would be pretty short, and it would be it's time to go, as that Claude on AFTV said it. I think they've come as far as they can. I think they've made themselves go from millionaires to billionaires.
Just existing.
Yeah, and at the moment, for any West Ham fan, the club is just breaking more and more and more. And before it's broke completely and gone, I think they should do the honourable thing and walk away and think we've earned our money out of here. You know, there's no ground. They don't own the ground, so they can't earn money out of it.
Got 99 years of this shit.
Just walk. You know, just realise you've earned your money in what you've done. You've sold the football club and its fans down the river. You've destroyed what was a what's the word I'm looking? Respected football club, I suppose, by a lot of people. And just move, just go on. You know, if this is what you're going on Leighton Orient and do it with them. And I don't wish that on Leighton Orient, but take your investment elsewhere. Take your investment because your investment in West Ham is minimal for what you take out of the football club, and you ain't welcome, and they're not welcome at all, in my opinion.
Let's try and get these messages over to them.
Yeah.
Wally,
Yeah.
what's your message?
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, we don't get any recognition over here from the club. I know Tim has said before, like he wanted to get some of the women's players on, and you know they were all gung ho to do it, and then the club just shut them down. And so I'd like to have them, loosen up and recognize us a little here. So.
Can I just interrupt? Sorry. The way you'd get that would be if you was properly licking their ass and saying how wonderful they are. No, genuinely. If you were saying, no, it's true. If you were saying, what a fantastic club West Ham are, they do this, they do that, they'd be all over you like a rash, and they'd probably invite you over to games. Oh, come and join us, have a day out in our box and all that bollocks.
But do you know what it is as well, though, Baz? It's us, like, we recognise, obviously, the overseas guys and, like these boys here doing it, like, the other fan bases, all for the same cause. We obviously could be doing a bit as well in promoting them and, saying, look, encouraging it, same as West Ham TV, and, trying to get everyone recognised that way as well. Like.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I think I would say to them, subscribe on YouTube to American Hammers TV. Hit the like button on Facebook. Follow us there.
That's the shortest answer possible.
Yeah.
It's probably the best answer at all.
So
yeah, it is as well. Yeah.
I'm with you guys. I am. I mean, I think one thing, the amount of money in football these days, right? Listen, if you do, these guys are billionaires, but they're 1 billion heirs. You know, that gives you 200 million seasons of transfers until you're broke.
Yeah.
No single billionaire is going to pump that kind of money into a club. We need a multi-billionaire. I mean, that's kind of playing field that football's on these days. We need somebody with 10 billion, 20 billion, where £1 billion to them is nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
They can go and make that a plaything.
Do you know
It's
what?
only going to get stronger as well, isn't it? The Premier
I
League,
would
that's what we
take
need.
back being in the Championship at Upton Park over all of that, just to have that West Ham feel again, because it's gone, it's finished.
I would know.
Take-
And that's the thing.
Take away the claret and blue and on for the bland bubbles, and tell me what's left. And the day Mark Noble hangs his boots up, because Declan Rice won't finish his career at West Ham. That don't happen in football now. The day Mark Noble hangs his boots up, there'll be nothing, nothing at all, apart from the colours and the
Well,
song.
look
That is
at
it.
the way they treat
There'll
players.
be
Like
us.
Collins.
You know, there will be us. There will be the supporters. There will be the memories and the people that are involved with the club. I mean, when we do our interviews, even the American Hammers, you know, a lot of them are very recent supporters. But the reason they support is people like you, people like me, people like Wally, Marshy. It's that community of West Ham supporters. And if there's anything they cannot take away, it's that. And I think if there's anything I got to hang my hat on, it's probably that and the culture of support that we have. And that's something that cannot be sold, cannot be moved into a new stadium. It's always going to be there. So, you know, regardless of what they do, I think we need to stick together. And
Definitely.
And hopefully, you know, down the road, there's some brighter futures for us, right? I mean, fortune's always hiding, but it's got to come right one day. This time next year, we'll be millionaires, right?
Well, the other thing we got to tell them is who won.
Yeah, go on, Wally. So Friday night night's been over for about half an hour, but go on.
Marshy milked that last question. He went on for about 25 minutes.
I'm glad Dom's come out. Yeah, verbal diarrhea, Dom, didn't he?
Dom might be off work by the time we're done. We'll get him back in.
Well, anyway, so Dom obviously came in first place, but this was only based on the likes from the original question. So, and then in second place was Marshy, and 1 point more was Baz. So Baz wins it.
Well done, Baz.
Only by a single point.
Marshy, I'll give you two thumbs up.
I don't mind that. I've lost to the better man. Well
done, both of you.
We've had enough rants tonight, but normally with the show we let whoever wins give the final message. So I will cut the rest of the guys out of the show. We'll see you in the back room, and the floor is yours to talk to all the American Hammers and Hammers around the world. What message do you have for them?
I have the absolute utmost respect for you all, for what you do, for what you supporting the football club, for how you are. As I say, I come over in August to Vegas to the West Ham or the US event out there, at West Ham Way US event, and it was great to have met you all who were there. I will be back next year, which I believe is in LA. I'll be back over for that, and I'll be coming to every single one every year. And again, I tip my hat off to you all, because the investment you give the club as supporters with your time, etc., is phenomenal, and you don't get enough back from them. So fair play. And what's the famous chant? Let's go, West Ham. Let's go.
Wally is celebrating in the back, because that's all he would talk to me about this week was your American Hammer impressions. So I know you just made his day. But thank you for coming on. Everybody in the chat rooms, hope you'll hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please share it. We'd love to get this out to as many people as possible. This is Friday Night Likes. We're on the American Hammers TV network. We go live every Friday, so please visit us again to get your West Ham laughs in before the games on Saturdays. With that, I'll end the broadcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.